Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
On August 16 of 2014 at 5:40 p.m., a crew were scheduled to operate a Union Pacific southbound manifest train IMASNL-16 in Dexter, Missouri, where it was parked for the next crew. It departed Dexter at 6:31 p.m. and would later soon arrive at the city of Poplar Bluff, Missouri at 8:50 p.m. This train only consisted of two locomotives, with Union Pacific C44-9W number 9707 leading, a CSX SG70 Mac number 4716 second, and 86 freight cars. When they arrive and stop at Poplar Bluff, Missouri, their train has to pick up 10 more cars in the yard before leaving. Now their consensus rate went up from 86 to 96 cars. Once they've got everything sorted out, they call dispatch and departed at 12:27 a.m. on August 17 towards the Hoxie subdivision. A 190 miles away from Poplar Bluff, a crew was scheduled to operate a Union Pacific northbound manifest train IQNL-PI-17 in Jenks Yard located in North Little Rock, Arkansas. They were called in at 9:45 p.m. and arrived at Jenks Yard. This train consisted of two Union Pacific ST-70Ms, number 5070 and number 4530. No stops were required to remove or add cars to their consist and would soon depart Jenks Yard at 10:57 p.m. Both trains are face-to-face at the same track. However, there is one way to pass safely. Both trains are going to meet at CPY-229, located in south of Hoxie. First, UP-IMASNL is on track 1, where it will have to slow down until the end of the siding. Once it's stopped, they have to wait for UP-IQNLPI to enter track 2, which is the siding. After the northbound clears the main track, IMASNL proceeds to clear the main line to North Little Rock with no issue. At 2:14 a.m., a Union Pacific dispatcher contacted the northbound and advised them that they'll meet one or two trains at Hoxie. The IQNLPI crew acknowledged the plan to meet those two trains at Hoxie. At 2:23 a.m., the southbound blew his horn at several crossings in the town of Hoxie. 2 minutes later, at 2:25 a.m., they passed the signal that was shown an advanced approach signal displaying a flashing yellow, indicating that the train was required to reduce their speed no more than 40 miles per hour. But for some reason, he wasn't slowing down and was accelerating more speed at throttle 8, which is the highest power precision. At the same time, the northbound was also shown an advanced approach signal, also displaying a flashing yellow. Once they passed that signal, they reduced their speed to less than 40 miles per hour. 2 minutes later, at 2:27 a.m., the southbound train's signal was displaying a solid yellow signal, indicating that the train was required to reduce their speed to no more than 30 miles per hour and prepare to stop at the next signal. Once again, he wasn't slowing down and still increasing his speed at 42 miles per hour at throttle 7. At 2:28 a.m., the southbound train passed a red signal and still wasn't slowing down. At the same time, the northbound train was also about to approach the diversion clear signal. The northbound train saw the southbound train approaching and he wasn't stopping. The northbound hit their emergency brakes hoping it'll stop, however it's already too late. The two trains collided at the combined speed of 80 miles per hour. The northbound collided with the southbound at 35 miles per hour, while the southbound collided with the northbound at 45 miles per hour. 4 locomotives and a total of 55 cars derailed during the impact. 41 derailed from the southbound, while 14 derailed from the northbound. One tanker car loaded with alcohol that's used for human consumption breached and burned after the collision. Fortunately, the product would pose no threat to the environment, and emergency crews allowed the fire to burn itself out. People that lived within the 1.5-mile radius of the derailment were evacuated as a precaution. Sadly, both crew members of the southbound train were killed in the crash, while the 2 crew members of the northbound were seriously injured but survived. The damage was estimated by the railroad to be at least $10.7 million, which would be $14.1 million in today's money. And here's the question. What will cause this derailment to happen, and who's responsible for all of this? The National Transportation Safety Board, or the NTSB for short, began their investigation. They wanted to interview the crew of the northbound train. They stated that there was no unusual events during their trip prior to the accident. So now they're going to be focusing on the southbound crew. During their investigation, they found some violations. They found that the engineer was likely fatigued and fell asleep due to his diagnosis, which then was treated with moderate sleep apnea and operated the train in the early morning hours. The conductor, on the other hand, was also likely asleep at the time of the collision due to the variability of his start shift times, which caused fatigue and misaligned with the external light-darkness cycle he experienced. The NTSB also found that the railroad's medical rules did not require the engineer, who was diagnosed with symptomatic moderate sleep apnea, to report his condition or ensure he followed the treatment recommendations from the sleep physician. There are some similarities that involved sleeping during the job, not just in the United States. In December of 2000, two trains collided at the entrance at Middletown Yard located in Christchurch in New Zealand. This was caused by the inbound engineer to fall asleep and failed to heed a danger signal. Fortunately, their train was slowing down and collided at the lowest speed. It left both crew members with minor injuries, while one with a broken finger. In April of 2011, a Buenos coal train rear-ended a Buenos unit train that was hauling Manitowoc equipment. The crew was awake, but they were half asleep before the collision. And they're also aware to reset the alerter every 2 minutes. That claimed the lives of 2 crew members, damaging several Manitowoc equipment and 2 locomotives. The National Transportation Safety Board concluded the probable cause of the collision was the failure of the southbound crew to respond to signal indications requiring them to slow and stop their train at CPY-229 because of the fatigue and had fallen asleep due to the engineer's treated emotional sleepiness, the conductor's free radical work schedule, and the crew operating in the early morning hours when they're supposed to be asleep. The NTSB also listed some safety issues that involve the fatigue and employee working schedules, medical issues, automobile systems that reset alerter devices, the Union Pacific's medical rules, and lack of positive train control, which might have been prevented by this. As a result, the NTSB made the following new safety recommendations to the Federal Railroad Administration and all railroad companies in the United States. Not only that, they also restated the following 2 safety recommendations to the Federal Railroad Administration. After the wreckage was cleaned up, the line will later reopen and all 4 locomotives were damaged beyond repair. CSX number 4716 became the first SD70 Mac to be scrapped after the crash.